All right. After yesterday, day one, how do you feel about leading yourself? Do you feel like you need more work in the area? Do you feel like you're doing pretty good? And Sharon's saying, yeah, okay. So what's one area that you all feel like you want to focus on first? Because you can't focus on everything all at once because you lose focus that way. So, what's one thing between now and the next challenge or the next workshop that we have at the beginning of May? What's one thing in leading yourself that you really want to focus on? You can pick one or two things, but not all six. So, I'll give you a reminder what they are. A clear vision of your life and work that you want to create, written goals that you regularly review, a structured and ongoing personal development program. Your self-image supports the level of success you want to achieve. You maintain emotional stability and focus, even when external circumstances are challenging. And my daily habits align with the person I am becoming. So, what's one or two places that you want to focus your attention between now and May or the next month? What do we get? What do we think? Ryan says 5 and 6, maintaining emotional stability with circumstances and your daily habits.
Mary,
Mm-hmm.
could
Yeah.
did you share the thing yesterday or
Oh, let
something?
me share. Let me share.
Because I was driving,
Oh, you were
so I
driving.
didn't.
Oh, Donna.
I was
Of
on the
course.
call, but I half heard it and half, didn't, and I
Yep.
didn't
Let me
catch
put it
it.
in the chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I put I picked day two twice. Okay, this is it. I'm sharing the entire worksheet or workbook. So that's all 3 days in the chat. And then I'll share the day two one also. This is day two. All right. So what do you guys think? Ryan said 5 and 6, emotional stability and daily habits. All right. Anybody else want to share? Go ahead, Sharon.
I'm going to do 1 and 6.
1 and 6. So clear vision, okay, and daily habits. Good. Okay. All right. Good, good. Fabulous. I like it. So what kind of habits do you two want to focus on? Don't do a billion of them. Again, you just want to focus on one or two. What do you think? So if the person that you're becoming has this big, huge, thriving economy around you, um, they probably do some things that you're not doing right now. So what's one of them? What do you think, Sharon? What's one thing?
I'm not good about having daily habits, but I did get halfway there this morning because I have some affirmations here on my wall that I picked up recently. Um, and um, when I think of daily habits, I think of chores
Mm.
that I
Hmm.
don't do.
Okay. Well, here, let me just shed some light about habits. Everything that we do every day is a habit. We do it through habits. So, do you brush your teeth? Oh, that's a habit. Do you put your glasses on?
Sometimes.
Uh-huh. Okay. Do you get dressed in the morning?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Especially before I go out the door.
Oh, okay. So even though they might not be glorious and glamorous, they're habits. And what also happens is that we have habits of thought. So something like if a dog shows up at your door, if you're afraid of dogs because a dog bit you in the past, you might go, a dog, and get scared. But if you love dogs, you'd be like, where this dog came from. Oh, you see there's habits of thought as well. And so habits go physical and they start actually mental. So, the idea behind brushing our teeth, I don't brush my teeth because I love brushing my teeth. I brush my teeth because I want healthy teeth and gums, right? So that's who I'm becoming, that version of me with healthy teeth and gums. Therefore, I brush my teeth, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Uh, just like I don't want to go out naked, so I put my clothes on before I go out. Same thing.
That was
Hmm.
that was yes, was it yesterday's Bob video in our Magnet 30 Path to Mastery study challenge? When he's wearing the yellow shirt and the jacket
Oh.
and it's like less than 2 minutes. It's like less than a minute. And he says, do you you go out basically go outside naked? And then he starts talking about how important it is to have good habits and that was a no-brainer. It was like funny joke. I never seen him like that. He was sitting in his car when he did it. And so watch it, those of you in Magnet 30 Master Path to Mastery. And but he was trying to make a point, trying to get our attention because the habit piece. We brush our teeth every day. We put on our clothes before we go outside. You know, and are we doing things that are aligned with our goal every single day?
Hmm.
And I am and I am not.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to strengthen that one because I want to um, build my habits into what I'm currently doing. Some of the stuff that I'm doing is for magnet mind development. Some of the stuff I'm doing is to help, bridge my income and the other things I'm doing is creative work in getting my course and doing this workshop this Saturday.
Yay. Ryan's going to be doing the workshop inside of Magnet Mind or Magnet 30 this Saturday. So you're all invited. Come on down.
Yeah. And the reason why I'm looking at it a little differently than I did the first go round last month is because there were things that I had committed to when I see what I love about these challenges, Mary, is that you show up, you play full out for a month, and then you come back and you assess how you did. Because I had set sort of a kind of a 90-day plan and it got a little derailed when I started assessing myself today about, day one of last month versus day one of today. There was some improvement in some areas, and then there were some things that just kind of went, I don't know where they went. You
They
know what I
win.
mean? They just went. But I think, you know, because ultimately, I don't want to keep living the same month after month. I don't want to keep living the same year after year. I want to keep growing. And I know it's a time commitment for folks, but this is the only way I'm going to be able to move the needle forward is regular study and introspection and also these workshops.
Well, yeah,
Because
applying what you're learning, right?
applying what you're learning and then checking yourself. It's kind of like accountability check-ins that we do in thinking into results.
Mhm.
It's something you either do, you don't do. And I noticed that I guess what I was thinking around, the areas of leading myself, I think I don't know which of the six sections that would really pick this one up, but I've there's been a pattern up until now of me saying I'm going to do something and I haven't done it yet.
Well, what's different about this workshop that you're doing on Saturday?
I'm doing something I finally and have been talking about for a long time and finally doing it. Yes.
Yeah, it's on the books, right? It's on the calendar. You big fat said I'm doing it, and now you made it public. And that's one of the things that's really helpful is accountability and a supportive atmosphere, a supportive group of people who can say, okay, where is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Right.
I would not be where I am today without this community.
Me
I
either.
really, I it very caught me yesterday thinking about what other people are doing outside of this community, and that's none of my business. All of my business is what I'm doing in or out of this community. But I was like, I don't know, I was like, I don't know how they do it because I'm really learning so much. I'm really honing in to actually realizing my dreams and, and doing things joyfully and having the freedom and then everlasting expansion and just keep growing and growing and growing financially, everything. And it's it's so important, but it's also so eye-opening and kind of intimidating. And it's like, oh, you just got it. It's the cold, hard truth, Nelson. Now let's work on it. Let's make a new plan. We can always begin again and just keep moving.
Yeah. And so when you're coming from that version of you that has the stuff you want, then you can you can create that self-image script. You can imagine what a day in the life looks like. You can start thinking about the types of habits that that version of you has. And then you just get to pick one or two. Just start there. And maybe you sleep in until 10 o'clock and half the day's over by then. And so you said, you know what? I'm getting up at 7, darn it, or whatever it is. Or maybe you, I don't know. Bob used to say that he helped Prudential, the insurance company. He said they got up, they were skin to skin with somebody at 9 a.m. in the morning, and they asked everyone to buy the $100,000 policy. And he said those are the two habits that the entire Prudential adopted. And so they earned way more money than they ever did before because they all instilled those two habits. So it doesn't have to be those exact habits. Maybe you don't have $100,000 policy that you want to sell somebody, but if you're not getting sales, maybe it's because you're not asking people to buy either, right? That could be it. So that leads us to leading your economy, day 2. Oh, that's where we're at. So I'm going to share my screen. In a minute. So before I share my screen, I just want to explain to you what I see is leading your economy. So I believe that an economy is bigger than just money or multiple sources of income. It is spiritual economy, it's mental economy, it is the psychic payment that we get from doing certain things. It's the good feeling that we get from leaving everybody with the impression of increase. It's all of those things. It's for me, horses are a huge part of my economy. They don't bring me money. They actually cost money. And so, but I have other things in my economy that pays for the horses, right? But if I didn't have the horses, I wouldn't be so grounded and able to do the work that I do every single day. I know that for a fact. They ground me. And I didn't always know that. But so your economy is something that allows you to live a full life. And mastery clients know this for sure that I'm at the barn every morning, right? And sometimes I send you a little voice memo and I'm walking down the path and you hear my little footsteps and there's the horse over there. So I'm at the barn every morning. And so when you created my day around that. And so when you create your day around the things that you love, you create an economy around a life that you really truly want to live. So maybe your true desire is to be a world traveler and work from anywhere, right? Ryan wants to be a nomad, right? You want to be able to be a digital nomad and be able to do your business from anywhere, and that's wonderful. So build the business around that, right? Don't buy a storefront where you have to be all the time if you want to be a digital nomad, right? So your economy is shaped around your desires. So you have to know what you want. And you have to be able to lead yourself. There were so many times after we closed our gym that I was trying to build this business, right? Magnet Mind. And so many people offered me a gymnastics coaching job. And I had to say, no, that's not who I am anymore. I'm over here. And it wasn't me, it wasn't saying no to them so much. It was saying no to me. Stop it, Mary. You're not that person anymore. Right. And that was that big self-image shift that I had to go through in order to feel like, okay, this is who I am now. Because before I was all about gymnastics, that was the center of my economy. And now I'm the center of my economy. And it has many more facets to it than just gymnastics. So you have to decide what are the things that really light you up in your life? What are the things that you need to have in there? What are the things that are grounding for you? What are the things maybe someone needs a massage every month. Maybe, there's all sorts of things that you like to do. I like to travel in our RV with Mark and Lola. I like to do that, right? So those are the other things that you have to be able to be flexible inside of your economy. When we opened the gym, I resented that business for a while because I was so tied to it. I was there at least 6 days a week, sometimes seven, right? And I had to be there. And that frustrated me beyond belief. So that's when I knew I sat in my car and I said, I am building a business that I can do from anywhere. I don't have to be in this room to talk to you. I don't. Right? In fact, I traveled all the way up to Minnesota and back talking to you. And that's how it works. But you have to be able to lead yourself from day one in order to make this economy revolve around you rather than going, oh, that opportunity, I'm going to take that because that'll bring me a bunch of money. But does that match who you are becoming? Or is that just kind of a temporary fix? Right? So we get to build an economy that's U-shaped, Y-O-U. Yay, Y-O-U shaped. So let me share my screen. Okay, so this is day 2. Lead your economy. So these questions are the ones that you're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being no, that's not me. 3 being, yeah, kind of, somewhat. And 5 being, yep, that's me. Okay. So let's just go through them really quick. Number 1, I have a clear map or blueprint for the economy I am building around my talents and my experience. So, have you created a mind map first and foremost to put you in the middle of it, right? Mary's in the middle of this and start doing little lines and satellites around it. This is what I want in my economy. So, for instance, my economy used to look like gymnastics was the center. And I had books, I had the gym, I had choreography, I had my publishing company was even gymnastics oriented, right? So what what is the center of your economy? My suggestion is to put you in the middle. Put you in the middle, not a thing in the middle. That's where I messed up before. Okay. So for me now, Mary's in the middle, and I have horses, and I have Magnet Mind, I have Iris Blue Publishing, I have gymnastics books, but I have other books too. And I have, you know, lots of other things. RVs with the family, plant-based meals, that's because that's how I eat. There's there's a lot of things that go into this, right? Does anybody have a question about that? A question about the things that you could put on your economy, on your map? Um, all right, so rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being
I have a
no.
question.
Yes, please.
So if I have a clear map and a clear blueprint, or but I'm not really executing it, is so I would probably be more closer to a 3 than a 5, right?
Oh, that's a great question, Ryan. Yes,
Okay.
I would say if you have it, great. If you're not using it, it's not a 5. Right? So, yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question because it only can do so much for you on paper. Right? Yeah, good question. All right. Number two, my personal life and professional life are balanced in a way that supports my long-term growth. All right. If I didn't have horses and all I did was work, I would not be fun to be around. Because before I used to just have gymnastics and it was kind of fun to be around, but because I love gymnastics, but I never went outside. Well, that I started walking and things, but other than that, I never went outside. And outdoors is really something that lights me up. So my day starts off after I meditate and study, I go to the barn and I spend a couple hours with our horses. And that balances me every single day. And then I come home and I do my calls and things like that. The other thing that I do that's different is when I very first started this business, I made a commitment to myself that I was only going to have regularly scheduled calls on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays with clients. And I have kept that this whole time. So that way I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to go on in the RV with Mark and Lola if I want to, or do whatever else I want to do. And that really helps me. It's not that I don't do any work the other days, but it's not as regimented. And if I needed to take some time off, I could take some time off. So, is your personal and professional life, are they balanced to support your growth? Does anybody have any questions about that one? Rate yourself on a scale 1 to 5, 1 being no, 3 being kind of, and 5 being yes. You can put your scores in the chat if you want, if you're willing to share. All right. The next one. I know exactly who my work is for and the type of people I want to serve, right? When I had the gym, I knew exactly who my work was for. It was for gymnasts, young and old, who wanted a positive experience beyond everything else. Yes, they could have um, success and everything too, but first and foremost, a positive experience, right? Now, this is for people who are economy creators, right? What I found is that um, in this personal growth and development thing, when I started as a Proctor Gallagher consultant, it's been people who are really entrepreneurs, people who are entrepreneurial minded. And so they tend to be economy creators, people creating something around their visions, around their unique interests, talents, and experiences. People who write books. I mean, I was a publisher, or I am a publisher. I was a publisher first, I should say. And that was something that people writing books have an economy around them, right? So I really like to be around those types of people, which is you type of people. So thank you. So do you know exactly who your work is for and the type of people you want to serve? And maybe you're just starting out, so you're not quite sure who your work is for, but you know kind of who you want to serve. You can start asking yourself more and more questions about getting clarity around that. right? Does anybody have any questions about number 3 or comments? The reason why you want to know who your work is for and the type of people you want to serve is because you want to be able to be clear with your messaging. You want to know, you want to be able to express it yourself. And if you can express it yourself, you can express it to others. Okay. It's really what it comes down to. So rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 on number 3. And then number 4, I have at least one authority asset, a book, a framework, a course, a podcast that expresses my expertise. This, I think, is so very important because in this world, we don't want to just say, hey, I'm good at this. We want to show people how you can help, right? So, for example, in gymnastics, I had gymnastics books, right? So every kid that came into our gym got a book. And then I wrote another one. They got another one, right? So, woo, my books are falling now. So now the authority asset not only is something that bolsters your authority, but it's something you can also use as a source of income. I mean, I just got paid from Amazon yesterday. Yay! Right? And it's not the highest paying thing, but at the same time, I'm not going to scoff at it, right? I'm not scoffing at any money that comes into my checking account. It's great. And I really don't have to do much. I create one asset one time, and it keeps this book, my first book, is the one that pays me the most every single month. And that can be you too. So let's see. Sharon, do you have an authority asset? You put a 5. What's your authority asset?
Well, I have kind of all of those. I have a book, I have a course, I have a podcast, and um I guess the framework would be what I post on Facebook and LinkedIn because it's pretty regular.
You mean it's like just content that you're posting?
Right. Social
Oh,
media
okay.
content, yeah.
Okay. I would say in this case, a framework would be follow this structure, and this is how you can get from A to B. For, like a framework would be kind of like a map, more so than just social media content. But if your social media content is explaining a process, then that could be a framework.
Yeah, I'm starting to uh, think a little bit about actually, without people knowing it, that I step them through the process. And then at the end, I say, oh, by the way, you've just walked through the 5 steps to going where we're going, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's great. And so, what is your book about?
Courage in retirement.
Mm-hmm. And is your podcast about the same thing?
Well, my book is basically some stories from my podcast days. Since I don't have clients, I used my guest stories as inspiration for thinking outside the box and um, being courageous.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what does your course do?
Uh, defines their soul, their spark, or their invisible assets that they were born with.
I love it. I love it. And so how do the 3 of them work together?
Um, Not very
Well, you're honest. I can help you with that.
the highway to here's where we're going.
Yeah. And so one of the things that you could start doing is linking them, and start that mapping that out, what that could look like. And that could be your blueprint for your economy, right?
I love a blueprint.
There you go. I like it. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions about the authority asset piece of this? Another authority asset that I have is How to Study Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. So I republished Think and Grow Rich, and then I created a companion course to go along with it, right? And so that can be a thing that explains a framework. All right, so now let's look at number 5. I own at least one platform where I can communicate directly with my audience, an email list, a membership, a community, etc. Now, the word own is really important because on Facebook, you don't own anything. Facebook owns everybody on Facebook. So if Facebook stopped your group today, you wouldn't have access to all those people. So you need to make sure that you're able to collect email addresses and be able to communicate with the people that you meet. Okay. So I'll give you an example of how I do that. You could, I have my podcast, right? And so I have the application to be on my podcast. And so when somebody applies, they put their email address in, and then I get that. Another way is Bob's book, You Were Born Rich. I give that away, but somebody needs to put in their email in order to access it, right? So the authority asset that we're talking about in number 4 could be like an ebook that you use as a lead magnet, as they call it, right? So you exchange that for somebody's email address, for instance. Okay. A membership. So I also have a membership, and I have my own website where I host the members. So you go into the member portal, kind of like what you're doing inside of this workshop. You have access to that member portal, and I have access to your email, right? And then as a part of my Facebook communities too, I ask people when they come in, what's your email address, right? So the idea is to collect the information. But I want to say something important. It's not just about collecting information, it's about having a relationship with the people as well. So what you do with the information is very important. If it sits in a drawer, it's not doing any good, kind of like your self-image script, right? So what is your rating for yourself between 1 and 5? 1 being the lowest, a heck no, I don't own at least one platform, and 5 being, yep, I do. So anywhere in between 1, 3, or 5. Does anybody have any questions about that? Someone asked in the last month's workshop, they said that they had a lot of subscribers on YouTube, which is great. But the question is, do you have a way to collect their contact information? And if you don't, then YouTube owns all your people, right? And if you do, yay, good for you. Ryan, do you have a question?
That was what I was gonna say. Because yeah, you're right. You don't own the platform. That specifically, the question is, do you own at least one platform?
Mhm.
And so email list is the obvious one. But the others kind of get conflated with subscribers and don't if you have your own domain and that's nobody else has it, that would be an asset, right?
Yep, absolutely. But do you welcome people into that domain? And do
Well, that
you
would
do you
be
know who joins you there, right?
Right. That's another thing is there a gateway or a portal for them to be, go right into except for an email address attached to a domain.
Hmm.
So the email list that's attached to your domain name doesn't necessarily mean you have two assets. So it's only one
I would say that's one. Yep.
platform. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
One platform. Yep. The other thing, another way that you can kind of have gain information or people's information on a platform is by using somebody else's platform. So, for instance, if I'm a part of a summit and I get the leads, the summit host shares the leads with me from the people who are at the summit, I can use those leads, generally email addresses, and reach out to them as well. So that it requires you to have at least an email list or something, a repository for this information. And it's generally email. If
How
you
many of
want
y'all
to,
are on more than one email list?
pardon,
How many are you on one or more email lists?
how many of us are on one or more email list?
Yeah, raise your hand if you're on one or more email lists and somebody else's email list.
Well, I think everybody is, don't you think?
So that still counts. Mary's trying to say that still counts as an asset,
If
a
you use
platform.
it. So you have to know the owner of that email list, and you have to be able to have a conversation and a relationship with them,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Just because I'm getting marketing emails from somebody doesn't mean that I own everybody, everybody's email on that list.
Uh, Whenever I promote something, it's the person showing up may be somebody that saw me on a different platform, but it likely is somebody else's email, somebody else's promotion that possibly they saw me in front of the person that's actually promoting it. I see that all the time. Um, and it's for different reasons why people would buy something. See, what I think you're getting in onto is how are we utilizing service to create our own economy, not just a transaction.
Well, and that's going to be leading us into tomorrow's discussion, right? Leading others.
Yeah.
Because you have to have the email platform or something, that repository at least, in place before you can lead other people. So you have to have the email platform in place before you can collect emails, right? Yeah. So that's where leading your economy is so important. So put a list in there. Hi, Donina. I'm so glad you're here. Um, let's see. The last one, number 6, I consistently show up where my audience can find me and engage with my work. So this, unlike the email thing, can be social media. It can be how I met Donina, for instance, on the networking call from Women in Alignment. It can be any place that you show up on a consistent basis. Maybe you put out a weekly YouTube video, or you have a podcast, or you have something that you engage with other people. And you can engage either face to face on a Zoom call like this. You can engage just in your feed on social media. You can engage in emails. I know people who only do email marketing. So there's newsletters, there's all sorts of ways that you can do this. But are you consistent in showing up for your audience? Right? That's the question. So rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 there. 1 being no, 3 being kind of, and 5 being yes. Good. Donina, do you mind sharing with us what you do consistently for your audience? Hi, by the way.
Hi, hi. I'm so sorry that the link was lost,
Oh no.
buried. Um, oh my gosh. I mean, I think most of the major socials I show up consistently on, especially now that I'm in build phase of my business. Um, and then I do a lot of I'm starting to do a lot of uh live in person
Oh, good.
because that's especially for what I do for my business. I think there's a huge trust factor to that. So people, I think, want to see me and not see a robot on
Hmm.
the screen. Um, but yeah, definitely, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and most recently Substack, which has been pretty phenomenal. Um,
Good.
and yeah, and then like I said, the in persons.
Yeah. Do you want to tell everybody what you do?
Yeah, I am an operations consultant, so I help founders and small business owners automate their operations backend so with AI automations and workflows. So you're not having to do everything manually. Cuts saves you a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see where, so when you say face to face, are you on Zoom or are you actually like in a coffee shop meeting somebody?
In a coffee shop meeting people. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Good.
that's what I've been pretty busy with, and so that's why my calendar has been a little janky, and I missed yesterday because I was like, oh shoot, I totally forgot about them. I missed it on
Yeah.
it was on my calendar, but yeah,
Good. That's great. Good for you. I love it. And you're right. People want to in this AI world, and it doesn't mean that you can't use AI in your business, but they do like to see that there's a human being on the other end, right?
100%.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. All right. So, does anybody else have any other questions about leading your economy, the day two concepts of everything? Does how about put your average in the chat if you your average score if you want to, because this one is big. It's not just knowing what's in your economy, it's not just creating multiple sources of income, but it's also getting it out there in a way that people know you exist. People know the benefits of what you're offering, and that's important, right? All right. Okay, we've got threes. Good. That just means that you just keep working, right? You keep focusing in on it. Kind of like after yesterday, we said that the beauty of these workshops is that you can kind of take these six concepts and focus on one or two of them between now and the next workshop and see where your growth has been, right? See how well you've executed between now and then. And doing these self evaluations is really helpful. All right. So, some reflection questions that you can take with you. I'll put this is the guide back in the chat. Sorry, I forgot to add that in there again after some people came in. So, reflection questions. Where does my audience consistently see me? So, for me, for instance, Facebook, LinkedIn, my podcast, um, networking meetings that I host, and inside my membership. So they see me there consistently. I think it was what was it, 2023, 24? No, maybe 2024. After I wrote How to Study Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, I went live 230 days in a row, reading 5 minutes every day. 5 minutes is better than nothing, right? So I read for 2.5 minutes and I explained it for 2.5 minutes. So I just showed up every single day. Um, so that you can do that. You can do lots of things. You can do lots of things, but make sure that it makes sense and it points back to your economy, right? Is my growth dependent on energy or structure? So Donina is talking about something important. You if you create these systems in place, your energy can be elsewhere as an entrepreneur, right? And so she helps people do that. So we need to create a structure that can withstand the test of time, essentially, right? Do you have this email list? Do you use scheduling of emails? Do you schedule your posts? Do you whatever it is, that type of structure? Do you have a format that you can follow? Do you have SOPs in place? Right? So there are certain things that you need to standard operating procedures. So do you have those things in place? And then the last one, what is missing from my infrastructure? So if you look back at those 6 questions, what are you really missing? Are you missing the email list? Are you missing the authority asset? It can be such a simple authority asset. It can be a framework of how I help businesses. That could be it, right? So I help people by helping them lead themselves, lead their economies, and lead others, right? I help them create a thriving economy around their unique interests, talents, and experiences. That's what I do. Does everything inside of your economy help you with that? Okay. All right. Well, does anybody have any questions? We've got 3s and 2.5, so leading your economy is good. So when you have the correct leading yourself in place, like we were talking about yesterday, and having a personal development structure, if you have a self-image that is supporting who you're becoming, if you have daily habits that are aligned with who it is that you really want to show up as, and a clear vision for how you want to build your life, then you can start creating this economy around you because now you're listening to your desires, now you're listening to what you truly want in your life, and you know what you don't want, right? And it's not bad to go through those iterations to figure out what you don't want. Remember, I had our gym and I was like, ugh, I do not want to be tied to my business every single day, right? I didn't want that anymore, and it was frustrating to me. And so I did this, and I was like, oh, this is so much better. And so I couldn't figure out that I needed to build this specific business if I didn't go through that particular experience. So it's important. And I think Donina, you did the same similar thing, right? You're an event person before, and now you're like, no, 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 I want to do this from anywhere. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So events, were you traveling too?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't mind traveling. On the one hand, that was uh, one of the pluses of the crazy life of event management. Um, Especially because you get wined and dined because these hotels want you to book at their, so that was a portion I loved. I didn't like the whole hey, after everybody's gone, I'm still up until midnight, 2 a.m. or whatever with my team, and then have to get up at 5 to start all over again, 6 a.m. the next day. So I
Yeah.
was done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it probably was fun for a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love events, but yeah, I'm not
Yep.
20 anymore. I can't do
Yeah.
it.
Well, and you've just evolved, and that's good. And now you can, what's beautiful about this is that we can evolve in our economies too. It's not an end all be all, right? So as you go through these questions and sit with these, just kind of think about, am I creating an economy around me, or am I creating an economy around something? Like I used to create an economy around gymnastics, and it really kind of burned me out. But if I create an economy around me, it can be more balanced, right? With horses, of course. All right. So are there any other questions that I can answer today, either about yesterday or today? My desires receive. Yeah, you wouldn't have desires if you couldn't realize them. It's true. Yeah. Um, anything? Any questions, comments, concerns? No? All right. Brian, do you have something? You look like you were going to push the button. You're talking, but I can't hear you.
I was trying to see if I was muted and I had moved the screen around, and I guess I was muted. No, I don't really have anything to add. I mean, the best, I guess the biggest thing that I get out of it is when I actually go and think really hard about these reflection questions, but don't camp on it for too long. Just use it as a tool to see where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. And I like to well, as I'm going through this again from last month to this month, I like to look at it as an opportunity for me to see two things. One, what am I doing really well, and how can I expand on that? And then two, where is my weakest, and where can I, when I, how can I start adding, what actions can I start taking now to start strengthening that area?
Yeah, good. Good, good, good. Fabulous. All right. You know what? Speaking of emails, my email system, for some reason, my SMTP is all messed up. So I'm trying to figure that out. So if you haven't gotten an email from me about the replay, that's why. So I'm going to try and figure that out today after this. But if I don't, that's why you didn't get an email from me. Just FYI.
Okay, good. It wasn't me, right?
Nope, it wasn't you. It was me this time. All right. Well, tomorrow we're going to launch into leading others. And this is something that people want to do right off the bat. I want to lead other people. But the first two pieces, day one and day two, lead yourself and lead your economy, has to be in place first before we can lead other people. So that's what we were talking about today. And so leading others it's a fun one because you get to really dive into impression of increase, which is one of my favorite things. So without further ado, I'm going to say goodbye to you, and we will be back tomorrow at the same time. All right. Have a good one. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye, Dorothy. See you later.